I'm going to show you how I like to light a 200A. Start off by removing the bail, the vent nut, the globe, and set them aside. Remove the filler cap to release the pressure and check the fuel level. If the gas is low, fill it with white gas only or Coleman fuel using a filter type funnel. Tighten the filler cap finger tight only, don't torque on it. If you over torque it, you might need to use pliers to get it off, and you could leave ugly pliers marks on the cap if you do that. Give the lantern about 20 to 25 pumps of air. Turn the pump knob counterclockwise a few turns, cover the hole with your thumb, and pump up 20 to 25 times. Push the pump knob to the bottom, and then turn it clockwise to close the pump valve. You want to preheat the generator right where the mantle is. In the garage, it's easy to preheat using a torch, but if you're camping, you can just use a lighter with a good steady flame. I like to use a grill lighter. Heat the generator right where the mantle is for a good 15 to 20 seconds. Be patient on this. You're making sure the lantern lights up without flaring or flooding, which causes excess soot buildup. After 15 to 20 seconds, crack open the valve and the mantle should light without flaring or flame-ups. Once it's nicely lit, open the valve wide and then give the tip cleaner a few rotations to clear any debris that may have gotten stuck near the tip of the generator. The 200A likes to run hot, so replace the globe, vent, bail, and vent nut right away. Don't over tighten the vent nut. After it's tight, back it off a half turn so it's not even touching the vent. The bail holds the vent on anyway, and if you over tighten the nut, you might need pliers to take it off. The mantles I like to use are Peerless 2C HG. They're more durable and are brighter white than the Coleman mantles. They're about the same price, maybe even cheaper depending on where you buy them. Spare parts, including mantles, are available at www.oldcolemanparts.com. There are only 3 regular maintenance items on this lantern. The pump leather will need to be oiled occasionally, the fuel tank or fount will need to be flushed out occasionally, and of course the mantles will need to be replaced. If the pump slides easily and will not pressurize the fount, you'll need to apply a few drops of oil to the pump tube, right into the hole in the pump cap where it says oil. Remember, only a few drops. The pump leather will pick up the oil when you work the pump. You can use 3-in-1 oil or any light oil, but I prefer to use neat's foot oil. A quart container such as this one will last a lifetime since you only need a few drops. I've put some neat's foot oil in an oil can to make oiling the leathers easy. The fount should be flushed every time or every other time you fill a lantern. Swish around the fuel, then pour it into a fuel can using a filter type funnel. You want to remove any rust, gunk, or insect parts that may have ended up in the fount. Then refill the fount using a filter type funnel. The last regular maintenance item is the mantle. If the mantle has a hole in it, it needs to be replaced. If you don't replace it, the hole can produce a hot spot that could ruin the globe. To replace the mantles, remove the bail and the vent nut, then take off the vent and globe and set them aside. Completely remove the old mantle and string. Tie a single overhand knot on the mantle. Then slide the mantle over the burner cap and line up the string in the groove on the cap. Spread the top of the mantle neatly over the burner cap, and once it's in place, pull the two strings together to tighten. Then twist the strings together tight and trim with a scissors or knife. I don't bother to put a second knot in the strings as it's a hassle and doesn't matter in the life or operation of the mantle. The mantles I like to use are Peerless 2CHG. They're more durable and are a brighter white than the Coleman mantles. They're about the same price or maybe even cheaper depending on where you buy them. Before you use the lantern, you'll need to burn off the mantle. Light it at the bottom and let it burn until it's completely white ash. If it's windy outside, you'll want to put the globe on while it's burning to ash, as the mantle is extremely fragile until it's been fired. I'm not going to use this lantern right now, so I'm just going to leave the mantle as is, and I'll burn it off just before I'm going to use it. Spare parts, including mantles, are available at www.oldcolemanparts.com. Most of the time, there will only be 3 things that need some easy repair work. The valve stem might leak a little, the generator might need to be replaced, and the cap gasket might need to be replaced. If the valve stem leaks, it can be tightened a very little bit, maybe a 32nd of a turn, to stop the leak. Tighten a bit, check for leaking, and check that the valve still turns freely. Repeat if needed. In rare cases, the packing inside the valve nut needs to be replaced, but this is rare and beyond the scope of this video. If the generator needs to be replaced, remove the nut at the center of the frame, lift off the whole frame and set it aside. If you're careful, you can keep the mantle intact. Remove the generator nut and be sure to hang on to it, as the new generator does not come with a nut. Then remove the generator by rotating the tip cleaner lever to the up position and remove the generator rod from the tip cleaner eccentric block. Install the replacement generator, making sure to get the generator rod into the tip cleaner eccentric block. Then install and tighten the generator nut. Snug it, but don't over tighten. Replace the frame, making sure to slide the generator into the hole in the burner assembly, then replace the nut that holds the frame. Tighten the nut just past finger tight. Snug it, but again, don't over tighten. The only other thing that might need to be serviced is the cap gasket. There are plenty of YouTube videos out there showing how to replace the cap gasket, so I won't get into those details. It's pretty easy, and the gasket only costs about $1. The gasket should last many years, especially if you don't over tighten the cap. Spare parts, including mantles, are available at www.oldcolemanparts.com.